Derivatives trading involves substantial risk of loss and is not suitable for all investors. Past performance is not necessarily indicative of future results. Good morning. And it's not good morning. It's good after. Well, I mean, we got 15 minutes left to the afternoon. Anyways, FOMC coming up. What else can we say, really? It's going to be crazy. It's going to be crazy. Okay, let's post the links. Post in the links here, Ian. Oh, and we don't need that. Oh, I think I should do it like this. Okay. Mm-hmm. I wonder if there's anybody on Reddit super tweeting about this, talking about this. Mm-mm. Nope. Ooh, some people to argue with on Reddit, at the very least. Mm-hmm. Anyways, how are you guys doing? Looks like the YouTube dashboard is still being weird. Still being weird. I think is okay. Got one person watching on Twitch. Oh, it says there's 3 watching on YouTube. I don't know. We'll see. Which way do you think it's gonna go, guys? You think it's gonna go up or down?
We are just over 10 minutes away now, just under 10 minutes away from FOMC rate decision, where we're widely expected to raise rates to the 2.25%, 2.5% mark.
I
to
think
2.25% mark. All 111 surveyed look for the rates to move up by 25 basis points there to that 2.25%, 2.5% level. There's also an expectation we could see a move on interest and excess reserves to 2.4 versus 2.2%. Looking at TD Securities, say the FOMC statement language should lose the last vestiges of forward guidance, making policy even more data dependent. In his press conference, we expect Chair Powell to continue to sound cautiously optimistic and to calm market concerns about over tightening. Only one or two participants can move the median dots in most years. We think a decline in the 2019 median dot to 2 hikes from 3 is slightly more likely than staying put. Conversely, we expect the median longer run dot to remain at 3%. Looking at the UBS, Kit Jux says that FOMC announcement today is the main focus and has been much. The hike is still likely regardless of. But our
Let's make him a little quieter.
Reduce the number of hikes implied by the dot plot in 2019 to 2 versus 3, and soften the language to signal the approach of the end of the rate hiking cycle.
Yeah, so Tao, I have looked at UB and I actually have a DOM in the background here for it, right there. But I mean, I don't really like it when it moves a lot. I don't really mess with it. Tell you what, the 30-year has been on quite the ride this morning, hasn't it? Went all the way up there. They made a new high. They came back really strong to the VWAP. They bounced off of it right back to that same level. And now they've almost retraced all the way. But it's all still kind of hinting at higher. I think we could move higher. I don't know if I'm actually going to take any trades. Maybe we'll see if something crazy happens in the 10-year. But, whew, I mean, this can be crazy. So, I wouldn't take a live trade. I'm just going to mess with it with my demo account. Could be crazy.
It's 10 yields back towards session, or recent highs there at 2.83%.
Yeah, I can see people filtering in. Tell me what your predictions are. Put it here in chat. We'll see what happens. I think they're both going to go up. That's just a wild guess. Don't take a trade off of that, please. I think they're just going to go up. They're kind of going down, though. It kind of looks like all that buying that happened, that they've taken it all off, and it's just coming completely back. What's this? They're just ticking lower. It's really dying off here without the liquidity. That's super interesting. Well, this is kind of odd. Well, we'll see what happens. Wow. 142.20?
A little under 3 minutes now before we get the rate decision. Come from the US FOMC. Again, we're looking for rates to rise by 25 basis points there, so that new corridor of 2.25%, 2.5%. Interest on excess reserves expected to also rise to 2.4 versus 2.2%. Dot plots expected to reflect less likelihood of 3 hikes next year, and more like to replace it with 2.
That would be like a
that comes in
40 tick move. That would be quite a trade to catch if you caught it. A big hammer, yeah. Yeah, be careful if anybody out there is actually stupid enough to trade this. Because I've watched many of these on the charts, and they have a tendency to do like really wild swings in the wrong direction before finally going where the market actually thinks it's going to go. So you'll see something where it'll like come up 12, 16 ticks, and then it'll come down 16 ticks right back to where it was, maybe even go past that, and then reverse again, and then only to end up the day even higher. Like you get all sorts of crazy nonsense. I don't want to say nonsense. It's just so many people repositioning and stuff. Like this move down, I think somebody probably bought a decent amount and had to dump it there, didn't get rid of it early enough or something. I don't know. It's just kind of weird that it just fell down like that, isn't it? I guess the E-mini is moving up and that's probably affecting it too. I'm going to take one more mouthful of food here.
so 40 seconds away. We'll do that in
Oh man. Oh man.
Okay, so Fed, as expected, raises rates there.
Okay.
To 2.25%, 2.5%. Says median view of appropriate Fed funds rates at end of 2019, 2.875% versus 3.125%. End of 2020, 3.125% versus 3.375%. It says sees slightly lower economic growth and inflation in 2019 compared with September projections. It says raises rates signals 2 hikes versus 3, judges that some further gradual increases are warranted. Risks are roughly balanced. Again, they raise the
Risks are roughly balanced.
2.4% versus 2.2. It says Fed raises target interest rates to 2.25%, 2.5%. Slightly lower economic growth and inflation in 2019 compared to September forecasts.
That's still relatively hawkish, isn't it? The E-mini is pissed. Holy shit. Oh, we need to move that.
Vote for policy
Okay.
change was unanimous.
And it was a unanimous decision. Okay. Ooh. Look at that. I have to zoom that out. So they basically just took out the entire range of the E-mini there. In less than a minute. My, oh my. Let's zoom all of these out a little bit.
So Fed lowers estimate of long-run Fed funds rate to 2.8 versus 3.1 previously, with rates seen halting at 3.1% in 2020. There's inflation near target with expectations little change. Risks to economy appear roughly balanced as it will continue to monitor global economic and financial conditions for their effect on economic outlook. Sets interest rate on excess reserves at 2.4%, widening the spread 10 basis points below the Fed funds target rate. And that vote was unanimous.
The committee judges that some further gradual increases in the target range for the federal funds rates will be consistent with sustained expansion of economic activity, strong labor market conditions, and inflation near the committee's systemic 2% objective over the medium term. The committee judges that the risks to the economic outlook are roughly balanced, but will continue to monitor global economic and financial developments and assess their implications for the economic outlook. I think they're fucking insane. What do you think? That is not dropping like a stone. Yeah, and you're getting a little bit of a muted move in Treasuries because what they said was hawkish, which would lead us down, but then the E-mini continues to be unhappy about it. And so if the E-mini is going down, that kind of pushes us up a little bit. That's just crazy, crazy. Morning, everybody. Or afternoon now, I guess. Got a lot of people watching. I don't think I'm going to touch that because of that. If they had said something dovish, I think I would maybe be taking a trade. And if I see a really good indicator where the liquidity firms up a little bit, I might try something on Sim. But man, E-mini just looks so bummed out about this. And the 30-year is higher still. Look at that. Actually, what I see right now on the chart, we were seeing a lot of flattening today, and right now we're seeing a little bit of steepening here with the 30-year, the way that it pushed back up, and so you might actually have a chance to flatten again. Like this next swing, you might be able to short the 5-year and have it go down really strong. That would if it flattens, that would be what you tend to see. And you can see here the 5-year is, they are kind of starting to do it. Let's like reset it because like that statement did not acknowledge anything that has happened. It was like they completely ignored the last 3 months. What the hell? What the hell are they? I am just really puzzled. Because either the market is just overreacting and there's nothing really there. I mean, somebody's wrong on this side, right? The market is really concerned, and the Federal Reserve doesn't see it at all, literally at all. So if they're wrong, they're going to be so fucking wrong. I mean, like really, the interest rates are going to be such a drag on the economy if they're wrong that like it would be like the biggest mistake in Federal Reserve history, wouldn't it? I don't know. Yeah, we touched the 144.24. That was John's upside number. Yeah. So this is where I'm saying it's not unusual for it to like swing up and then swing back down. So there's a possibility that this whole thing retraces and we go back to the news price, and then we could possibly bounce there and even go higher. These things are crazy, man. I've seen a lot of wild Federal Reserve statements and stuff. Not always with the order flow, but I've been watching these the past 10 years. I remember when they announced quantitative easing that there was a pretty big bump, but then they kind of just ended up where they were before. But I don't think I've ever seen one that the E-mini was that mad about. They just look really bummed.
Apparently, Canada is providing some tariff relief for some steel importers.
Hmm. I mean, if you think that it's going to go higher, this would be an okay. It's an okay from a risk reward perspective. I'm not seeing anything to really tell me that that's where it's going to stop. Hmm. So here's the price that we've spent most of the day at in ZN. 30 half. That's where I made my one trade today and made a tick. And is this gonna... You know what, I need to like maybe change the interval back and see if... Yes, there we go. That doesn't look right. That's as far as it will let me zoom out. And sellers are piling on it there. And mind you, these are like the not well past. I take that back. They were a little bit lower today, huh? But pretty low. Pretty low to be selling like that. They can hold 25.45 area. Higher. That would be super positive. Hmm. Is this still too wild to trade? You're noticing it's 4 tick stop runs? Just like that. Your whole position's gone. Alligator thinks we should go down, huh?
In 10-year yields now lowest they've been since May, end of May. General feeling is that they could be, if they weren't as dovish as they possibly could have been. Seems to be some of the early commentary coming out.
Weren't as dovish as they possibly could have been. My take is I will have to see when the notes come out. I mean, when the notes come out, that's going to give us a lot more. But I was really expecting to see something in that statement acknowledging the volatility that we've had the past 3 months, and they haven't at all. Let's see. I don't see many comments. Well, here in chat, so let's check Twitter. What are people in Twitter saying? Bizarre word change from committee expects to committee judges. Ah, so they're admitting that they're making a call here and that they might be wrong?
Pfizer's joint venture with GlaxoSmithKline says it's credit negative.
They don't just change those words either, right? Like they all have to agree, okay, we should change this. So somebody said that we should change this. Why? Dollar rises on the headline and retraces a lot. I'm not seeing a huge move in the currencies, at least not in the yen. A little bit in the euro. Well, I said the risk reward here for buying is okay, and what do you know? It's just pushing lower. Look at that. It falls so easily. There. The comments I'm seeing on Twitter are pretty. Here, I'll pull it over for you. You can see. Here's what Forex Live said about it. It has a picture of Bart pulling the seatbelt tighter around Millhouse. So I think that it seems like most other participants' reading of this is the same. Now this is where you kind of get this kind of weird things because if the Federal Reserve is going to be more hawkish, then rates should go down, right? But the E-mini is panicking, and that is pushing us higher. Makes the trade could be a little dicey, let's say. Wow. Alligator got 285 to 30, and he could have gotten more, but it looks like he had to bail. Look at the way that the Treasuries all in sync react when the E-mini starts turning down. See there, they're doing it again. They all ticked up. The E-mini was coming down a little bit. Oh, that's right. We have the speech too, huh? Oh, alligators taking them in the 5-year. I gotcha. I think that's the right way to do it. With the multiple contracts, I think you would make a little bit more. Yeah, look at how the E-mini turns down when all the treasuries move higher. I don't know. It looks to me like that this one is moving first, but there is kind of a, chicken before egg kind of question there, isn't there? Like right now, they're kind of overall moving up. Treasuries have come down a little bit. Okay, there's a little bit of a move up after this had gone through, and then they ticked it down. When I picture this, because I've decided, we talk about how the different instruments are kind of like different girls you're dating or something, or that you could date. Don't date them all at the same time. That's bad idea. But I think that the E-mini is like that popular girl at school. You know what I'm talking about? Like she's very professional in business and she's a smart person, but and she's the popular girl. Like everybody wants to trade the E-mini. But I tell you what, that girl is drama. Look at her. The temper tantrum that she's throwing right now. Chairman Powell didn't say that I'm pretty enough. He didn't even say anything about me. I should just go away and never come back. Then you'll all be sorry. Okay, then you're going to pivot down again. About the time. I'm not seeing absorption yet. I think you might see some icebergs around here, though. Yeah. Okay. Oh, man. I don't know. It doesn't really look like sellers are really piling on here. There's a few when I see like some stop runs and stuff, but not really seeing a bubble in equities. Jumping right back down in the treasuries. Hey, what if they get below the open? What was the open? 29. Man, if they get below 29, it's a little bit of a drop after that.
So again, I guess we knew this, but Senate not yet ready to move on interim spending bill to avoid shutdown. Box.
Ouch. That's not good either. I wonder if that's gonna affect predicted market. Let's look. What's predicted saying today? Predicted.
Like we're 10 minutes
Shut
away now,
down.
9 minutes away from the Fed Chair Powell taking questions. Well, giving an opening statement, then follow that up with questions. from assorted press conference today to explain the decision. Dot plots, the dot plots today. You had comments. If you want to listen to that, I'll put the link up for you. But we've also, for those with premium service, can listen to that via their premium line and get that at low latency. Beats the street. We've had comments there from the bank, starting to get comments there. BMO Capital Markets, Ian Lingen. There we have it, a non-dovish hike. To be fair, the committee followed through with a quarter point increase on the interest on excess reserves. Increase, and then a 20 basis point increase on excess interest on excess reserves. That wasn't really a question. The introduction of, but we'll continue to monitor global economic and financial developments and assess their implications for the economic outlook, was meaningful and incrementally dovish, and nothing off the charts. It was a fair assessment insofar as the Fed clearly isn't ready to signal a pause, but is becoming nervous.
Okay. It's not behaving the way that I expect it. It's kind of funny that I'm seeing 1,000 trade at a price and it's making me nervous, but see, that's not what it's supposed to do. You're supposed to go bid and stay bid. Still no. Okay. It's not. See if we get the let's go find the video. Oh, they have nice music. Don't they have the most lovely music at the Federal Reserve, guys? Good guitar music. I like it. It's very nice. I kind of liking that 29.5. We're kind of doing the same thing the other way.
Canada's Prime Minister Trudeau says asking for more information be brought forward for reasons behind the Canadians' detention in China. And a third China detainee, very separate from the other two, says Trudeau.
Man. Okay. This is kind of a little bit more like what I wanted when I took that first one. Yeah. Then I want to see the E-mini just completely fall apart. I feel really weird talking about the E-mini just completely falling apart with such lovely classical music in the background. Well, they didn't quite. I thought about it there, but they were just going to the other side of the range. No big deal. $267 looks balanced. Yeah. I think we may turn up from here. Granted, we got 3 minutes until the news conference. That's not. All right. Yeah, E-mini is recovering a bit now. All right. ES made it halfway back. They're right at the VWAP too. Like, I don't know. I really feel like that the E-mini is going to want to go and retest those lows again. The question is just where are they going to do it at? And when the news conference starts, you often have a hard time getting reads. So I think those two I took there I was wrong on. Then now the opportunity is gone. Fortunately. But after as much as it's moved to have only lost 2 ticks throughout all that it's great. Took
Again, this
small
is the
little
situation
shots with
with
high
prices
reward.
might
They didn't work
still
out.
have
It's
got
okay.
main cylinder dumping from Thailand. Again, Powell's now started his press conference.
He started and I'm not hearing it on YouTube. Oh wait, here he is. Here he is. I'll turn it up. You can still hear me okay?
Past year, the economy all of those. The September meeting. I'll explain how my colleagues.
The economy has continued to perform well.
September,
Says
the
Powell.
U.S. economy roughly in economy has pace that down over. Wages have been up for. Inflation has remained. Some American families and problems remain. Despite this, growth in other economies.
You gonna retrace this whole thing now?
All financial.
Powell says financial conditions have tightened. Evidence of soft income includes subdued growth abroad.
Oh, we don't need to hear it from you two.
Modestly.
Here's his projections.
Projections. Inflation remains. Struggled to recover from the held. Economy did steadily. 3 years ago. Today we raised by another quarter. FOMC. Brought that down a bit. Emphasize that our policy decisions given recent statement no. I will provide some context. Given this effort, us in December 2000. Have left the target range. Part because accurate. Time. One more time. Data dependent. 2008 economy policy had been projected. The economy has weak caused the economy has generally know that the there today in tightening of have also growth remains of its long 5%. Inflation
This is looking like in the 10-year the long that I was looking for originally.
the continued given our action that lower end next year outside differ accommodative
Hmm.
when rates are in moving forward. My colleagues and I close economy close policy worth noting that the summary of sometimes point but middle participants appropriate believe that the
No.
not a consensus actual policy will as outlook for the ultimate rate increase just money inflation near. We know that our policy to all American families and based. Thank you.
Okay. So this is my favorite game. Who gets the first question? Is it going to be Steve? It's not Steve. They gave it to a European.
Right, Sam. Inflation has come in touch broadly. You think
Okay.
Today, the Fed given that I'm what
Sure. Go back. Took away the lesson. So carefully about how to normal.
I thought I could get in again, but I missed it. That sucks.
That has been.
These questions are weak. Give him a real question. Ask the kind of question you would ask Donald Trump if he was up there. Come on. Ask him, the markets are freaking out and you don't think that anything is wrong?
Background, I would just. Bit above.
Sucks. I think I would get out here though. Maybe 20.
Outlook.
Second, third is
Thank you. So that's a real question. Thank you, Steve.
Took on tightening and not any. Took that on. That's in a statement line.
Wait. You think that monitoring developments is enough to say that you're watching it?
Tariffs.
about 7th forecast say interpret
Right, then it rise by a lot, very close to 2. I do believe it.
Mm-hmm.
That we're going to not trying to be on. And I don't. Particularly. Oh God.
So then maybe don't raise rates as quickly because that's not coming. Seems simple to me.
Advice.
Fucking thank you.
And I back to 2000.
So fucking you've been wrong for 7 years in a row. What makes you think you got it now? You see me over here? You see me over here?
Took on.
Mm-hmm.
How the Fed. About what effect get from that. Dot plot being. How do you think dot plot is handling? Coming at a good time. Lower for. Better achieve. Not looking. Mention it. Census. Updated. To come in.
note in the markets that cost of credit or risking.
Do watch all of that. The amount of pretty small quantitative.
Hmm.
Things that are happening at the very large. You know, we're carefully.
Lawrence Fox business.
Let's see if we ask the question a third different way that maybe he'll give in.
When do you think? In addition, what date? Because when the
You know, we're watching. We have a strong forecast generally. Test involved. 2 and 2. To make further moves, looking for. I mentioned.
Did go higher. Should have taken a trade off of that. Oh well.
Estimates. Looking at. Updating. Just your. That's what we've been doing.
I wanted to ask whether and then also I was wondering, Governor debated analysis.
Not worried. Every
Nothing. Huh.
countercyclical. Vulnerability. That's a tool. Absolutely.
That's going down too easily. Okay, now we're building a little bit of volume at 25.23. When it moves down, Look, there's those 50s, right? That's not... People are not buying this. It's a bull trap.
Doesn't currently need.
I would take...
I don't believe
Can
it
talk about Bitcoin after the reserve meeting, I guess.
Should it be?
asked this a couple times. Very good question. That would just
Yeah, but we all think you're crazy.
individual out in the vote on the
Good God.
personal.
I can't look at this, guys. Look at this. They're not buying it. Fuck.
There would be
Boom.
inappropriate. I couldn't put too much. You people are thinking. Don't I?
Okay. It comes down too easy. There is nothing absorbing it on the down. Yeah, it's super flush on ES. This is a fucking disaster, man. Ah, okay.
So person from country, and I personally
They don't care. Really scary. It's going to be another markets versus the Fed. Fucking exactly.
and you know what you're taking up. The bank. Different people. That move.
.80 flush isn't all that big for ES on this type of news. I'm more concerned about the way it's doing it.
President Trump said,
You know,
It's just gonna...
natural conditions. Don't look at it. Big range.
Okay, this one is holding a little bit.
For volatility doesn't probably.
You fucking kidding me?
What we see. Tightening. Remember me? That we tried to factor that. That's how we follow.
You see this right here in the E-mini. This is a perfect example. 41, 38, 37, 27 was all that was sitting there waiting to buy it. Yeah. They're not, nobody wants to buy this market.
It has happened. target or
The sad thing about this is that I was long way back at 29 and I could still be in it if I wanted to be.
move up last. In terms of us targeting growth, I think our
I wanted to stay in it too. It's just I thought I was going to be able to take a tick out to give myself some room. Stupid, stupid, stupid. It wasn't stupid. It's just that, you know, sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't, I guess.
Next year, hike is coming.
think having right. And able to after each. What
Here comes 2,500.
will become the case.
There are a few people trying to buy it here now a little bit.
Our project.
Nope.
Have the ability at a different.
Hikes, and now you have.
And they're going to touch it, watch.
Yes, that's
Almost certain. Yep.
want to communicate something.
Okay. Okay. So this is now panic.
Back a few.
Nope.
The number.
Did I go long? Did I say to go long in the SPX?
Very tightly.
I don't know if I did say that. I was thinking that maybe we would move up, but then this news conference started, of course. But I don't actually take trades in the E-mini, so.
Labor cycle. I'm
Okay. Mm.
Above that.
Nah, I don't know what you were talking about. I mean, if I was saying something on stream, I was probably talking about something super short term, so.
Primarily.
Tomorrow will be fine. Well,
Capital.
the action that I'm seeing is this sort of thing that cannot last forever. That push down at the lows was fucking insane. I have never seen anything even close to that in the E-mini. That was just a wild, wild move. You know? And I mean, what else can I say? A wild move. That kind of volatility
You're right.
can't is not sustainable. Period. It's just
Sense of
mathematically impossible. Right? Doesn't mean that that's a bottom or anything. I'm just saying markets can only handle so much volatility before everybody that can possibly sell is sold, you know.
should they? But in the nature of that, focus more. I think with the larger institutions, regulation.
The laugh like a devil. It's trading itself. Yeah.
Looked at carefully.
Well, I did say way back, like a well over a month ago, when things really started to get heated, I was like, I still think you buy the dip. But today, nobody believed in the short, only a small group. I don't know if I would say nobody believed in it. It was just, you could wait and see.
No, you look any different.
I think Lord Blue Blue is saying also, isn't the market response this hour showing that he's outright wrong to raise rates at least this month? My reading on it is that the market believes he is outright wrong. Yeah.
For what you make of it.
IA says that he lost money shorting today. That's
Positive.
that sucks.
Presumably.
Again, we any particular distant.
Boom. Thank you.
No, Treasury has sentiment.
I feel really good about my trading today, guys.
Rates were.
I'm happy to do well on a day when a lot of people are watching. Come back tomorrow and I'll lose it all. Should be fun. The thing that I think kind of sucks is that I had that short there at 11 where I lost 4 ticks, was totally right too. It was just a little bit early.
Where we are.
That looks like I could have held it for a little bit more. I mean, I thought there was a probability of it going further, but it seemed to be slowing down, and there was enough absorption to justify maybe taking it off just because of how, you know, trading the Fed is crazy. Yeah, well, that's a demo account, guys. Yeah, I wouldn't.
Monitoring.
I would say, I mean, you can trade on Fed Day for sure, but especially during the news conference, it's dicey, you know? Because he could say anything and they're going to react to it, you know?
2017. Raise their some sense. It has racing still healthy level close to the, but you no longer have long levels. That's I think the key. Also, event risk.
Have you seen a movie about Louis Borsellino? A movie called Sold. I've never heard of that before.
Day supervisor cared for the.
Yep. It's crazy. They don't even show they care. Only one statement would have been enough to keep things under control.
Something we're watching shouldn't have. Very much.
He's done. Okay. Yeah, I'll add it to my list. In fact, I'll do that right now. So I got 4 ticks. If I take another trade, I'm probably just gonna fuck it up. I shouldn't say that, but you know. The amount, so when you get 1 o'clock is the pit close, the amount of trade that you get after that is questionable. I really like the Federal Reserve's music. Don't you like their music? I think they should just play music every day and we can trade to that. And isn't this so positive? Come on, guys. Like, it's not so bad. Look, the E-mini recovered. You see? Like, they're back up. We're back up. It's okay. The data still looks good. Somebody's trying to spam me. It's gonna be okay, guys. It could be okay. I don't know. So here's this in all seriousness. I'm a little conflicted about what I'm seeing because my whole trading career, it's a bear flag. Yeah, I mean, it could be. But no, my whole trading career, if we'll call it that, because really I've only been like really trading for 3 years, and even then most of it is, most of it is on sim. But I have been watching the markets, the E-mini. I've looked at that chart every day since the financial chart crisis. I love the markets, man. And it was always, oh, the Federal Reserve, they're going to do quantitative easing, and it's not going to work, and it's going to destroy the value of the US dollar, and everybody's going to sell. And I remember that day, it was like, it went up, and then it went like way down, and then it went up like that. And it was like, that was the best buy opportunity you ever had in your fucking life. Because after that, it just went zoop, the whole, since today, really. Well, not today, but I mean this year, really, right? That was like the best buy. And my philosophy was always, don't bet against the Fed. But here we have a situation where the market is betting against the Fed. The market thinks that the Federal Reserve is going to be wrong. And you know that when we have a financial crisis, it's usually because the Fed is wrong. Or if the Fed is wrong, it ends up being worse than it had to be, So it's not like they can't be wrong. But me personally, I'm not an economist. How am I supposed to know if they're right or the market's right? So from my perspective, it's like, okay, so what are we concerned about? Well, we're concerned that the Federal Reserve is going to raise rates. We're concerned about trade tensions, although we've admitted that it doesn't have that huge of an effect on the economy yet, and it appears that they're going to make a deal, so that shouldn't be a thing. We're concerned about Brexit, and that's not really going super great right now, is it? But I think the last thing that we heard was that they were probably going to do it. Let's see. Let's look that one up. And then the last thing was the debt ceiling fight, which as of yesterday, people were saying it wasn't going to happen. I still think it's going to happen, but they were saying that Donald Trump has capitulated and that it's going to keep going, right? So what is there? That kind of like eliminates all of the big bad things. So what it really is the reason, It seems to me that if there was really some hard data that was showing that things are about to go down the shitter, that the Federal Reserve would be seeing it and acknowledging it, and it just seems mind-boggling to me that they could be that blind. There's nothing for me to latch onto. I can just watch the order flow and see, and it's very clear from what happened in the order flow right there that the market thinks that they're crazy. They did not like what they heard. They did not like what they heard at all. The Fed cannot be wrong. The Fed rules the money. That's not true. Okay. In 2008, the Fed was wrong. They were wrong. They did not become accommodative fast enough. They were late on it. They had to drop interest rates really, really quickly. They did not see the systemic problems, and so they weren't able to intervene until it was already way far too late. They were 100% wrong in 2008. The Fed can be wrong. But the edge is definitely in following the Fed, right? They're probably right like 90% of the time. Because you're right. They rule the money. It's like with the quantitative easing thing. I look back on that, and all the people that were saying that it was going to be really bad and that sold the market are fucking idiots. Like, the Federal Reserve is going to just straight up buy fucking everything, and you want to sell against the Federal Reserve? That's kind of dumb. That's kind of dumb. But there was a lot of people that did it. Who was it that there was, he's still on television sometimes. yeah, is like Mohammed El Alran or whatever from PIMCO. You remember him? That they were one of the ones that said that, this is going to be bad for markets. And they paid. That's why they don't work there anymore, because they made the wrong call on quantitative easing and they missed. They missed the big deal, and now PIMCO is no longer the preeminent bond force in the market, from my understanding. BlackRock is. That's my understanding. I could be wrong about that. What's the remaining catalysts this week and year? Well, nothing happens for no reason. Everyone knows it. Oh, you think the Fed only makes it possible? So you think that the Fed allowed that to happen in 2008? I'm of the opinion. I think that in 2008, when Jim Cramer got on television and he said they know nothing, I think he was right. I think that the Federal Reserve has this little model, and that says that this is the way that the market's supposed to be, or likely to react. And sometimes that model is going to be wrong, because it's a model. And the Federal Reserve doesn't really know enough about their model anymore, because it's based on, decades of economic research and other people and stuff. There's no way, they don't understand when it's going to be wrong. And this, right now, the market thinks that the Fed is going to be wrong and that there's something wrong, but that the Fed can't see it. That's really what's going on. Well, the market is recovering still. It looks like they're going to make a new high. Pivot high. Do I call it a pivot high, a swing high, or whatever? I don't know why I always want to call pivots swings and swings. And I know that pivots mean something technical to some people, but to me it's that price turned around significantly. Oh, they came up to it and they're coming back off of it very quickly. Now, another thing that I find that's a little interesting that we should keep in mind on this is that what I just saw there, like, look at the cumulative delta on the E-mini. It's like 10,000, something like that, from when it like really broke lower, Let's go back to when the statement came out. What was the high? Okay, so we were almost to minus 5,000 at one point. Okay. So we're about 25,000 contracts short. But this move down right here is only 10, which is pretty typical for if we come back here, let's go back and look at, like, say, tomorrow, okay. So from there, 30,000 to, say, 22,000, 10,000, like a 30,000 net swing in cumulative delta is not necessarily like the end of the world. So I believe that move that you saw there down at the bottom was more than anything a buyer's strike. Like, nobody wants to buy it. Not that they're just dumping in panic. I mean, there was definitely panic down there. When it started trading down there at the bottom, I recognized that right away. I was like, you buy this. Yes, sir, you buy this one. So I went short. give me the control over the currency of a nation, and I do not give me over control over the currency of a nation, and I do not care who makes the laws. I don't. Okay, so yeah, let's talk about cryptocurrencies. So here's this move here in Bitcoin. I'm going to make this really big for you. Not really big. We're just going to cover up these charts for a little bit. We need to keep the order flow on there. Okay, here's Bitcoin. All right, now notice, ever since way back here, like we really dumped. Okay, so here was we really dumped, and we actually did end up going a little bit lower. But ever since that, look at the futures, the cumulative delta. They're going up. And they are going up, and they're still going up, and they're kind of flattened off. So, I was explaining this a little bit earlier today, but I'll go over it again. Imagine that there's like 1,000 people in the Bitcoin market right now. And, you know, let's say that maybe half of them are like hold for life, right? Oh, Swiss said, give me control over the currency of a nation, and I do not care who makes the laws. Ah, yes, I get what you're saying. This is from the CME futures, okay? And these are the CME futures. So for some reason, the CME futures, they've been buying it this whole time, okay? So I'm just saying, look at these numbers. It's like 1,600 net contracts on. So let's just say, for thought experiment, there's only 2,000 people in Bitcoin, and there's a certain number of them that have bought, and they're going to hold for life because they're stupid. I don't want to say that. I'm just joking. There's probably some people out there that are holder for life, maybe even are listening, and I'm not saying you're stupid, but that's not what I would recommend doing. But those people are never going to sell. They're going to go to zero if they have to, right? Okay. So let's just take those people out of the equation, right? So if there's the rest of those people are in the market, and let's say that 1,600 people have bought here in this, if we just assume that this is all, everybody that bought here stayed in. I know cumulative delta isn't quite like that, but we can just say everybody that bought here, they bought and they're in and they've stayed in. 1,600 people that have bought. How many new people are going to come into the market next month? Because if it's that's who those longs are going to have to sell to. So if it's less than 1,600 people, then price is going to have to come down, right? Think about it this way. There's just you and me in the market. I buy 8.5, and then I offer 9. And you say, oh, okay, I'll buy 9, and you offer 9.5. So I'm out, and you're in, and then I say, okay, I'll buy 9.5, and I'll offer 10. And you buy 10, and I offer 5, and then I buy it from you, and I, offer 11, and then you buy 11, and I say, you buy 11, and you offer 11.5, and I say, you know what? This has gone up far enough. I think I'm going to leave. Because you filled me and you got out. Okay? So nobody buys it from you at 11.5. So then you decrease your offer to 11 to see if somebody will let you get out at break even. And it doesn't. So then you take it to 10.5, 10. And what's going to happen? It's going to go down until a third person enters the market and is willing to buy it from you. Right? That's like the most basic example of how this sorts of thing works. And so what ends up happening is I made all this money, and because I left the market, you're going to lose an equal amount that I made because of that. Right? So the question that I have for anybody that wants to invest in Bitcoin right now is what says to you that there are going to be more people interested in investing in Bitcoin next month, other than that price is going up? Because I'll tell you what, my mom is not going to go and buy Bitcoin next week. It doesn't matter how high it goes, because she just saw this whole dumpster fire of a year in Bitcoin, and she's going to want to stay away from that. You know? So with that in mind, what is the sort of thing that can provide a floor? Well, there is a price level at which the amount of people mining Bitcoin and that are like perpetually invested in Bitcoin and actually use and transact on it, you know, that the transactions that they carry will sustain price. And that price is somewhere below 2,000. Okay. When we get to that price, you have your best risk reward proposition in Bitcoin, and we are not there yet. It's at 2,000, if not lower. And when you get to that point, you generally tend to have a depression, which is that it just doesn't go anywhere. You buy it and you actually might be like profitable, but it's going to be like super slow. You know, you make 10% over the summer or something like that. But then like you made some money and you tell your buddies, oh, you know, like I made some money and it's like really low and it's a lot safer now. So maybe you can buy it. And then, you know, somebody comes up with a new use case for Bitcoin. And so there's a bunch of people that want to buy Bitcoin so that they can buy stuff with it, or they can send it to each other, or whatever the reason is. And now all of a sudden, because there's so few people, you know, like we said, if there's maybe 1,000 new people, like there's 1,600 that bought, they're going to have to get out. And even if 1,000 new people come into the market, price would have to come down. But if there's only like 100 of us in the market and 1,000 come in, then at that point, then price is going to move up, right? We want to wait until that happens. We're not there yet. We're not there yet. Yeah, well, okay, so Suso says Bitcoin has no future. It was just an attempt by the financial elite to get rid of the cash. It was an attempt, everyone knew it, with the permission of the Fed. I mean, I don't believe that. That's a fun theory and everything, but I don't see any evidence for that, and I don't believe that. But we must acknowledge something that's really key, and that is that once everybody is washed out of the market, there is no guarantee that it's going to pump up again. Next time around, people might say, you're not going to trick me this time. I'm staying out. Or it might, you know, it might pump really hard and just fail to get over where it was before. And then people are really going to be like, well, we didn't make more money this time. Maybe it's over. Right? Or maybe a different cryptocurrency takes over. Yeah, tulips. Tulips is a good example because, you know, it could pump many times, but there's a certain point at which the problem with the asset, that enough of the market is aware of what the problem is that you're not gonna be able to pump it up as much. Like there's going to be a period at which, you know, it goes into a bubble, but the peak of people that are buying it at that bubble is less than the peak of people in the previous bubble. I don't know if we're there, if we'll get there yet, but I think that it will get to that point. Just ask why the Bitcoin futures were introduced. Well, I think the Bitcoin futures were introduced because the exchanges knew that they could make money off of it. That's really all there is to that. Of course, I did say, didn't I say way back then? I don't know if Swisso was around back then, but I have a video on my, so that's what I was saying. A lot of people do come in about cryptocurrencies, even though we're not actively trading them a lot, because I made some pretty prescient predictions about Bitcoin way back then with the futures, because I said, like, the effect of the futures is that more people will be able to effectively short Bitcoin. And so if Bitcoin is overvalued right now, then the futures will almost certainly help price get down to where it's supposed to be. Now, the thing that's interesting, though, is that they're buying it right now in the futures. Like, there's only one way for me to see that, and that is that on the move from 6,000 to 3,000, there were speculators bottom fishing. And I think that they're going to dump it up here. There could be another move higher, potentially, to 4,500. But anything above 4,500 gets super suspect. Like if it gets above 4,500, I would be looking at straight up shorting it again. I missed that opportunity last time. I'm going to take another look at it again this time. If it does it tomorrow, see if there's anywhere that I can short it. If it gets over 4,500. But until then, I think that the most likely scenario is that we're just going to kind of bounce above 3,000 for a really long time. Maybe until May. Like the most specific scenario I see is that it's going to bounce between 4,500 and 3,000 until about May. And at some point there will be another flush lower that would be kind of like capitulation. Yeah, I think that the E-mini might be done, but you know, it's hard to call that kind of thing. I'm only saying that the E-mini is done just because when we were down there at the bottom, it was super wild, wasn't it? And that kind of volatility has to work its way out, and then now that we're quelling up, it could totally reverse and come back up, but it could also move lower. I don't know. This is why I don't trade ES. Anyways, I FOMO'd in at 37.30. No, never FOMO in, dude. So there was another thing that we were talking about. I'm gonna make some videos for some of these because I think I can, you know, describe them better and maybe have pictures and stuff. But I've been playing a lot of fighting games lately because traditional shooters are just shit these days. Like Overwatch isn't fun for me anymore. I just spend too much time yelling at my teammates, and I just want something that is competitive, but that's just me. And Soul Calibur 6 came out, and I've always loved Soul Calibur. So I've been playing Soul Calibur. And I'm noticing that there's a lot of similarities between fighting games and trading. And I would actually suggest, like, playing fighting games might give you some insight into how trading works. Because there's similar sorts of things. It's like you get into a situation in a fighting game, like you just knocked the other person to the ground, and then you have a couple of different options in terms of how they are going to stand up and how you can react to them standing up. And there's a lot of those situations where there's a 50-50 chance they do this move or they do this move. And you don't know which one they're going to do. And it's kind of like, well, they did this move last time, so I think they're going to do it again. And so I'm going to do this move. And that's where the mind games come from, right? Trading is exactly the same way. Well, one of the things that happens in fighting games is there's different types of characters. And those characters use different general strategies. And one of the most archetypal characters in fighting games that have been there from the very beginning in Street Fighter is the grappler, like Zangief. And a grappler is always a really big guy that can pick you up and throw you. And his whole thing is he wants to get in and he wants to grab you. Now, to do that is a big risk for him. It's a big risk for him. Because he has to get in close and you can hit him, and you can probably hit him faster than you can grab him. Yeah? So the grappler character is always scary. He's always a big burly man. In Soul Calibur, he's huge at Astaroth, and he's got a big axe, and he's scary, right? Why? Well, because they need to scare you in order to get the kind of reaction that they need out of you to be able to grab. What's the reaction that they need? They need you to be passive. If you're scared, people tend to be more passive. They don't take as big of a trade. They take risk off the table. They won't take as risky of a trade. And that's what he needs, right? Because the grappler now, because you're being passive and you're being a little bit more defensive because you are afraid, that makes it easier for him to come in and pick you, to grab you and throw you. So the emotional reaction that the grappler elicits in you, the player, is the exact opposite of what you need to win. What you need to win is you need to get in his face and just never give him the chance to do it. He tries to come in and you hit him. Be aggressive. Be aggressive back. Don't be afraid. That's how it works, right? So it's the same thing in trading. They're trying to FOMO. They're trying to make it you think that it could go up even though the price isn't very good. That should always tell you something. Doesn't mean that it's not going to go. I mean, there's always a chance that it's going to go. But you need to see something. Like we do it here all the time in the E-mini. It's like, you know, they're 4 ticks away from it, and I can just tell from the way that it's ticking, it's going to go lower, almost certainly, right? But I'm always sitting there and saying, well, looks like it's going to go lower. Oh, well, right? Why do I do that? Because I'm not going to do it unless it's hitting my price. They're really coming down into some liquidity there. How much was being bid down there? I can't really tell, but it looked like there was some big orders down there and that the market is appearing to bottom. If you go into a deep topic, you can see infinite similarities. Yeah. Anyways, this move down in the E-mini is an even better example, right? It's going down, and what is your reaction? It's scary. You don't want to buy it. Nobody is buying it. And people are capitulating now at that point. And it's just wildly going around like just complete total insanity, you know? The end of the world, that's when you buy it. That's when you buy it. Like, freaking load up, man. Those are the best trades. And like I said, it's not that it can't go lower. It's that your risk reward is so heavily in your favor at that point that you almost can't afford to not take that trade. And if you go through the stats and you've done it long enough, you'll start to realize you almost can't afford not to take those trades, you know? So yeah, if you feel FOMO about the coins and it's not the spot that you were looking to buy it, walk away. Because chances are that you're like one of the last people to get in and you're going to be left holding the bag. And if it goes without you, then oh well, you missed it. It's okay. Like, there will always be another trade. You know, you can catch the next pump and dump. You know, we're almost back in Bitcoin to 3,500, which was about where, well, not 3,500. I'm going to say like 3,700 here, which is about where I opened at. They start going below that, then you could get ugly. Hope that helps. Don't FOMO. Worst thing you can do. The whole thing is premised on the idea of that last group of people coming in and feeling like they've missed out and they don't want to miss the next leg, and that being the opportunity for the smart people that know that it's overbought to get out. Yeah, so that's my spill. So we were talking about if Bitcoin is a conspiracy. I really don't think that Bitcoin was like created by the government to yada yada yada. It's just, I think that's silly. I think that the only reason Bitcoin went up when it did was just kind of a random timing. People talk about Bitcoin going to 80K and this is your only chance, but my rational thought says that this is not the bottom. Too many shitcoins alive. 2000 needs to flatline. Yeah, I agree. Well, like the thing that one of the things that I watch is like, just look at CNBC. You know, like, are they still posting headlines about it? They are. There's too many people still interested in it for it to bottom. It's just the problem is that, you know, what's the next group of people going to be? Is it going to be more or less? And I have to say, in Bitcoin, I think that it is still less. It was kind of the same thing in the evening. Like it's getting so crazy down there below 2,500. I mean, who is not involved in that at that point? Like every institution and their dog is doing something at that point. They've got to be, because you can't ignore something like that. It's just like not in people's nature, you know? We're just watching it in awe, but everybody's gonna have an emotional reaction to that. So everybody just took a trade down there, you know? Well, now everybody is short or is sold or whatever. Now the only option it has is for it to turn around, I think. Bitcoin OTC is decreased and exchange must take over. Well, it really bothers me that people aren't using Bitcoin itself. Oh, did I say something really? I apologize. I used some swear words somewhere. I'm not somebody that naturally swears, but like sometimes I feel like swearing is necessary for to understand the emotional impact of what's being said, you know? I really, one of the things is that I really think that for another Bitcoin you know, market bubble, I will say, another bull market in Bitcoin to start, there really needs to be a change in the Bitcoin ecosystem. Something needs to change that makes Bitcoin more accessible to everyday people and makes it easier for them to transfer it to other people. And right now, when I look at the decisions that Bitcoin Core makes, I don't see that happening, which is why I keep saying, like, it might not be Bitcoin next time, you know? I don't know anyone who's buying something with Bitcoin or alts. Bitcoin has to drop 3870 points to buy it. There is a point at which there's people that are mining it. There are like all sorts of robots and programs that are doing stuff with it every day. When price gets down to the point where that activity sustains price, then you can buy it. That's what we're looking for. Then you can buy it. That's just the risk reward is positive for you. But then when I would start saying to other people, like, I think you should get on board, is when you see something that makes it more accessible to other people. But it might not be Bitcoin. It might, I mean, I know that there's a lot of drama over the whole Bitcoin Cash thing, especially with the way that fork seemed to be the catalyst that pushed us lower in the cryptocurrency sphere. But as far as I can see, the Bitcoin Cash people, for one, understand the purpose behind the coin that Bitcoin Core does not seem to get. Bitcoin Core seems to think that this is just something that you hold on to and it's valuable forever, and that's bullshit. It has no value unless people are giving it to each other, right? Bitcoin Cash understands that it has to be used, so they want to improve their ecosystem and make it easier to use. and they will probably succeed at doing that before Bitcoin Core does. There's the Lightning Network thing, of course, but I'm just not very confident in that. Could be wrong, but at the moment, I'm not very confident in it. So if Bitcoin Cash or Ethereum beats them to it, and, you know, everything has bottomed by that point, and there's a really good chance of a flippening. There really is. Well, we did move quite a bit lower in treasuries, so even with my short, how far has it gone? 125.065, let's just say. So it could have made 12 ticks. Not bad. So I made 125 off of this one. No, I didn't make 125. I made 109. So I got 7 ticks off of that. So there was really only there was really only 5 more ticks left in it, I guess. But it came up and then it went back down. So if I had really caught in the swings, I might have been able to do that. But I think that making 4 ticks is good. Really wish that this one hadn't happened. It always makes me mad when I'm right and then I still get stopped out. But it seems like in the long run that the good trades still overcome those. But that's a place where I feel like I can make a bigger improvements in my trading. There's just a lot of big trades in ZT too. Well, things have definitely calmed down. So any other thoughts? Because I'm thinking about shutting it down now. My time is pretty much up here now at 2 o'clock. I've got to get back to work. So give it 5 more minutes and then we'll shut it down. And I appreciate anybody here that's new. Definitely check out the links in the video description. Discord is great. We have a lot of really great traders in Discord and a lot of good resources in like the education channels and stuff like that. One of the best, if not the best, free resource for trading, futures trading on the internet. And we've been talking about Bitcoin, that valuation that I'm using to say that the bottom is probably somewhere around 2,000. I post that every day. on Patreon. I hope you can hear me. I know I'm like it way back here and all the way up here. Yeah, I post that every day. Hi, David. How's it going? But I post that chart every day on the Patreon, and subscribers get to see it that day. Everybody else gets to see it a few days later. But, when it gets down there, it might be too late. So, and when it gets up there, it was definitely too late. It's by the time that it got out to the larger public, we had already fallen considerably last December. But I have to tell you, I've been posting those charts every day for a year, and they have not been wrong yet. They have not been wrong. It's scary to me how good it is, because things that effective aren't supposed to exist. But it's Bitcoin, it's a new market, and it exists apparently. So check it out. We appreciate everybody that contributes to the Patreon. It helps make the stream better, and would like to use the money that we're saving up from that to buy some hosting so they can provide some better charts. maybe make the stream a little bit more fun. But yeah, kind of all comes back to us in the long run. So if you enjoy watching this, I would encourage you to do that. So did you guys all do well? How much I wish Alligator wasn't gone. He would Bitcoin only worth is the stupidity and greed of the people. Well, I agree with that. Like in all honesty, when I say like I think it's gonna bottom at 2,000, that I'm just thinking, you know what? That's like a good risk reward. It's probably going to pump again. Not probably, but I think it's going to pump again. And the indicator will get overbought at some point and will sell it again. And you're just taking advantage of all the people that are going to be dumb enough to do that at that point when it's overbought. And then at some point, it's inevitable. At some point, a government is going to create a fiat-backed cryptocurrency, and Bitcoin's not going to be worth anything. So why would I mess with Bitcoin when I can have the advantage of something that gives me everything I can get from Bitcoin and being able to give it to anybody, you know, and even some of these other coins like anonymity and things like that, and then also have the backing of a federal government? Why would I use Bitcoin? Because I don't like the Federal Reserve? I don't know. To be honest, I feel like most of the people that say those sorts of things about the Federal Reserve don't know what they're talking about. The Federal Reserve is overall a good thing for the economy. They make mistakes, yes, but things are much more stable with the Federal Reserve than they would be otherwise. Much more stable. Bum. Yep. Okay, well, it is 2 o'clock. So thank you guys for tuning in. Thanks for saying hi, David, even though we didn't get anything else out of you. I stream every morning, so I'll just see you guys tomorrow morning. Catch you later.